sugar cookies. In my bowl I've got my flour, and then you're going to add some baking powder and a little bit of salt. The awesome thing about this sugar cookie recipe in my cookbook, A Taste of Guam, is that not only does it produce a most delicious sugar cookie, but you can roll the dough right onto the cookie sheet. Get your cookie cutters and make your shapes. Peel the excess dough away. Sprinkle with your decorations and then bake. Got my butter in the bowl. Then you're going to add Crisco. That's white shortening. And I would get the name brand, not the generic brand. Generic brands have an off color. Beat this for a minute. After a minute, go ahead and add granulated sugar and beat till all combined and light and fluffy. Scrape the sides of the bowl. There's your vanilla. This recipe is actually from my good friend Nancy. A little bit of milk, whole milk, and an egg. And again, scrape the sides of the bowl. This is a great make-ahead recipe because after you make the dough, you do have to refrigerate it for at least 3 hours or overnight. Add your dry ingredients and, of course, mix with your hand. Once you roll and shape and bake these, if you make it get nice and brown, it has a subtle difference in taste compared to a lightly browned sugar cookie. But if you've ever rolled cookies on your table or countertop or wherever, then cut them out. And by the time you transfer the cookies to the cookie sheet, it's somewhat disfigured if they're thin. With these cookies, you can roll them thick or thin right onto your cookie sheet, and they don't lose their shapes because you're gonna leave them in place. These cookies are good thick or thin, lightly browned or darker brown. Just depends on your preference. Gosh, I haven't made these in like a couple of years. But it is Christmas time, so these will make great Santa Claus cookies for the kids to have fun with. Alright, that's done. I'm just going to use a rubber spatula to get it into some plastic wrap and put it in the fridge. Okay, because when you are rolling this dough out, you need to work with it in small portions. I divided the dough in two, and I'll wrap them separately in plastic wrap. This is a very pretty dough. It's smooth and it looks great. I have half of my sugar cookie dough, which actually sat in my fridge overnight. So you're going to take half of your half and work with 1/4 of your total dough at a time. It might feel a little stiff, but it'll warm up. And put the rest of this back in the fridge. Notice I have my cookie sheet. There's no lip on the edges. Just kind of press on the dough a little bit to soften it up. It doesn't take long. Okay, there you go. Nice and pliable. Okay, so I'm going to start on one side here and just work along half of the cookie sheet. We're going to roll this out thin, about 1/4 inch. You can sprinkle flour on your rolling pin if you feel you need to. I haven't made these cookies in a couple of years. I don't remember. Okay, that's about 1/4 inch thick. Then grab your cookie cutters, wiggle it, faces the opposite way. Get as many cookie cutouts as you can. So we could go for a gingerbread man. If you have small shapes, you can put it there and peel this away. It's best to work with this dough in a cool room. So my kitchen is usually about 70 degrees all year long. It's a perfect temperature. Actually 68-ish is better, but kind of too cold for me. And then just put the dough on the other side. Again, flour off the cookie sheet. One gingerbread man. Let me squeeze him in. Yep. Peel away. Green Christmas trees. we'll do green and red stars. Red gingerbread men. These are delicious cookies. I think I made a few of them too thick, but some thin, some thick, some darker brown, some lighter brown. It's all delicious. Goes into the oven at 375 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes. The cookies are done, so go ahead and take them off the cookie sheet. You don't want to let them cool too much here. As soon as they come out, go ahead and take them off. Otherwise, they'll be difficult to get off the sheet. And I am using a non-stick cookie sheet. You'll notice that my stars are nicely browned, and I've got the Christmas trees and gingerbread guy, not so much brown, but my friend and I prefer them thinner and brown. So you can bake a little bit of both and see what you like better. Oopsie. Oopsie. Okay. Now for all this mess here, do this over your kitchen sink, but use a napkin and just brush it off.